Oh, pain at the pump. It's always pain, isn't there? This morning, the statewide gas price average in Texas, $3.27 a gallon. That's about 8 cents higher than it was last week, 18 cents higher than last month. In the Houston area, here you go. Average $3.23 for a gallon of regular. That's 6 cents up from last week. The average $3.70 for the super, $4.06 for premium. Both of those up about 6 cents as well. These increases follow the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC's, announcement to further cut global crude oil markets by about 1 million barrels per day for the rest of the year. Josh Zuber with AAA is with us once again. Thanks for coming in today. Thanks for being here with us.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, a lot of pain at the pump. That's true.
Right? Feels like it's never ending. So I'm just sort of refreshing my own memory. Last year, it sounded like OPEC made a decision to cut 2 million barrels a day through this year. And then, what, a couple of weeks ago, they said, hey, we're going to cut a little bit more. How does this, Josh, affect gas prices for people that don't understand sort of how the global oil markets work?
Right. You know, really the bottom line when we talk about gas prices, we do look a lot to the oil market. And the deal there is supply and demand, right? So in this case, that surprise announcement from OPEC cutting back on the supply, right? So that automatically, most of the time, increases our prices. Plus, looking ahead to the summer driving season, demand expected to really start to pick up. So we're talking about those pre-pandemic levels of travel, if not getting higher than that. So demand for fuel expected to go up. Supply, in theory, going to be a little bit tighter. So retailers are responding by increasing prices.
And what's your take on that increased demand this year? Is that, I mean, we typically see it in the spring into the summer. Is that just a guarantee?
You know, nothing's ever a guarantee, right? But when we talk about demand for travel, oh boy, we're getting all kinds of interest in bookings for travel. Bookings from AAA data, basically almost to those pre-pandemic levels, right? So, you know, if you're talking to a AAA travel advisor, they'll tell you plan a season ahead, right? And that's the thing is, as we look to summer and even the rest of the year, a lot of hotels, a lot of cruises, they're booking up fast. So if you want the best deal possible and you want to make sure you get the accommodations that you want, definitely want to consider booking now.
Interesting. So you're thinking we're back to pre-pandemic levels for people driving and getting out on the road.
Driving, flying, taking cruises, travel is going to be a very hot commodity. We've already seen it with spring break travel, right?
Okay.
We saw some big numbers for spring break travel. The airports reporting pretty high levels, if not record levels. You know, if all holds where we're going, holds well, summertime is going to be very busy. So definitely want to plan ahead and make sure that you pack your patience, whether it's driving, flying, or headed out to a cruise.
Depending on the mileage and whatnot, the gas bill might be a little high.
Right.
We always ask for some tips on how, if at all, can we save some money at the pump? How do we do that?
Right, absolutely. So there's some easy ways to save money when it comes to your fuel economy. So really, one of the simplest things you can do is make sure your vehicle is well maintained. We've said it on your show before. Make a good bet, BET, that you arrive safely, but it also improves your fuel economy, and that acronym stands for check your battery, engine, as well as your tires. Right. Tire pressure, that's a really good one to save on your fuel economy, not only for safety, but also your fuel economy. So checking it at least once a month, especially before you go on a road trip. Practice those safe driving habits. So, you know, following within posted speed limits, avoid those hard accelerations. Also need to mention it's April, so that is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, right? So again, just got to point that out. Don't drive intoxicated, don't drive intoxicated. Then as we look to, you know, as a consumer, being savvy, right? I know Amy Davis says it all the time, so shop around, make sure you've got your mobile app. AAA, we've got a mobile app, for example, to find the best gas prices near you. And then when you're at the pump, make sure that you're choosing the correct grade of gasoline for your vehicle. You were talking about, you know, the premium versus the regular.
Right,
the bottom line is most people can fill up with regular, check your owner's manual. It'll save you a bunch of money.
Yeah, because you could be spending an extra, goodness, $1.50 or so a gallon for the more expensive gas that you may not need. Are you going anywhere this summer that you know about yet?
You know, we're still planning.
Still planning, yeah. Me too. I hear you. It's interesting. Josh Zuber, AAA. Thanks for coming in, man. Good
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.